Anthony, all right. All right, you ready? The Wednesday, June 8th, 2022 Conservation Commission meeting will now come to order. I call the meeting to order, and Amy Maxon, our administrator, is going to make a public service announcement.
So I've heard that North Andover CAM has been experiencing difficulties with Comcast in terms of the volume that the TV programs are coming through at, so they're low volume if you're watching on TV. So if you would like to live stream this meeting, you can go to the North Andover CAM website and click the link for CONCOM, and you'll get the live feed for this meeting. Otherwise, you can also go to Gov Livestream as well. So just wanted to let you know. So if you're watching on TV, the volume might be a little low. Comcast is actively working on that, but there's options for you to go to other sources.
Thank you, Amy. I now invite everybody to participate with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. Approval of minutes for May 11th, 2022. Are the minutes ready? Have they been reviewed?
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
Move to accept the May 11th meetings, May 11th meeting minutes.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that's unanimous. Okay, notice of intent, 242-1787-135 North Ramp Road, DeRosa, continued from 5/11. Request to continue to 6/22.
Mr. Chairman, I ask that we table that until we have a quorum. We're, Ryan Kent.
We don't have a quorum to even act, so it's automatically,
But Sean will be here momentarily when we could actually continue it. Either way.
okay. Oh, yeah, okay. I see
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't
I
have a
gotcha.
quorum of 10, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
242-1787 will be tabled.
Okay.
242-1839, 1160, and 1116 Great Pond Road, Brook School, continued from 5/25/22.
So we have to wait for Sean for a
Waiting on that
quorum
one, too. We will table Brook
Yep.
School as well.
Yeah, we're just.
All right, I'm going to go for three here. Any problem with 242-1843?
Okay.
We have a winner. All right. 1761 Salem Street, continued from 5/25/22.
I think we need to wait for Sean on that one as well.
You do?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I'm just looking at, yep.
That's all right, I'm
We
0 for
need
3, so
Joe,
don't feel...
Al, Sean, and Ryan. Yep.
Just so people understand what's going on, is where we have just barely a quorum, there are some folks here that weren't in on earlier hearings and can't participate, so until the next member comes, we kind of have to table these.
And
We'll
we
come
do-
right back to him.
We do have another member en route. He works in Boston. He's on his way here. All right, let's try 242-1842 Lorraine Avenue, continued from 5/25/22.
Let's see. So, I think as long as Ryan and Tony caught up on the previous hearings that they missed, we can move forward with that. Yeah.
Look at them.
Okay, all right.
They acknowledge that they're up to
Yes.
date,
Yep,
for the record. 242-1842 Lorraine Avenue,
all right, you can take that.
do we need to make any, do I need to issue a statement on this at all?
Probably should.
So, for the record, the commission is proceeding on advice of counsel. The details of that advice need not be disclosed. So we are proceeding on advice of counsel.
What that pertains to is that there was a question of whether the application was complete or not, whether we could move forward or not, and that matter has been clarified. We have a proper application before us, and we're going to continue where we left off.
Yes, that is correct. Again, for the record.
Good evening. For the record, John Moran from the Moran Cameron Group. We're here representing Dave Kindred, the applicant, one of the owners that lives on Lorraine Ave. As the commission is aware, we had filed a notice of intent application for the repaving of Lorraine Ave. We had submitted a revised site plan that included some additional details that the commission had requested, as well as we had added an infiltration trench on the westerly side of Lorraine Ave, which was through discussions with the abutter. A couple other changes that we had, and I discussed this at the last hearing, we actually are proposing to pave two of the other driveways out on that site. One of the driveways is for 15 Lorraine Ave, which in doing so, as shown on the revised plan, we will be removing a portion of an existing gravel drive that's within the no-build, and the new paved driveway would be outside the no-build zone. That driveway was previously approved as being paved under a previous order of conditions, and the other driveway is actually pretty far, it's well outside the no-build zone. At the last hearing, I don't believe the commission had any questions with regards to the revised plan, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Mr. Lynch?
Yeah, just recapping, and you did a good job, John, is that the only thing we tripped up on is whether there was a completeness of the application itself. Every question was resolved leading into that question being raised. But so long as I think we never really did discuss the extra two driveways, but I agreed. I remember the first one coming through under an early NOI, they didn't pave it, which means they're now looking for it under a new one, but it doesn't change what the original intent was. And the other one is outside, so I'm all set, no questions.
Mr. Capuchetti?
No questions.
Any abutters that want to be heard with regard? If you'd like to be heard, I'd ask you to please go to the podium, identify yourself, name and address, and
Yep.
you can choose. You can sit, you can be seated, or you can stand, whatever you want.
Thank you. Okay, Michelle Saracusa, 210 Andover Street. I have a couple of questions. Whose written decision was made to accept the notice of intent without all owners' signatures?
I couldn't hear your question.
I'm sorry. I said, whose written decision was made to accept the notice of intent without all owners' signatures?
So we're proceeding on advice of counsel. Counsel has advised us that we ought to proceed.
Okay, isn't this public information as a homeowner?
Not when a commissioner or board specifically asks for legal opinion, it is not public information, that's privileged information. But we did, to shed light on what it is you're asking, is we believe there was some legitimacy to the point that was raised of whether it required also homeowner signatures or not. as to who had rights in the roadway and then ultimately had the authorization to file an NOI. Upon review of the complete application, the Wetlands Protection Act regulations, and the laws and statutes as they pertain to private ways, council has told us the application is complete. We are proceeding with the application.
And may I ask another question? What council was it, Suzanne Egan or the temporary interim council?
KP Law, for the record.
So I cannot request a copy of that official written decision.
You can request, absolutely, you just not from us. You can go to the Board of Selectmen, the town manager, or directly to KP Law and request whatever information you feel is relevant to you, absolutely. We're not at liberty to go beyond our statement.
Okay.
But you're entitled to all the information you can legally obtain, absolutely.
Okay, because I already requested in writing
Yeah.
to the council and never heard anything written back.
So,
That's it. That's,
yeah, I can't
Okay.
answer that.
yep.
Yeah.
So let me read my statement.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
So I'm not done yet.
Okay.
Okay, so I have to go back to council. All right,
Yeah,
so
yes.
again, for the record, I'm one of the 4 owners of Lorraine Ave, which is a paper private road. My property abuts 200 feet along the length of Lorraine Ave. I have lived here at my current address since 1995. I do have an interest and concerns in my property and the surrounding wetlands and wildlife. In July of 2020, I met with the town manager, Melissa Rodriguez, and explained my situation. The town manager, in return, consulted and confirmed with the town council, Suzanne Egan, the town would not act on an application at the Conservation Commission or before any other committee or commission without the signature of all the owners. I have a letter, which I would be happy to give you, dated August 25th, 2020, and signed by the town manager. Let's fast forward to July 26, 2021. I received an email from town council that they would accept a notice of intent without all owners' signatures. The town council states that Connolly and Breen have hired an attorney who provided a mass DEP decision, and the town is not prepared to engage in litigations. Due to the threat, the town of North Andover and town council flipped their original position. There is no, in the matter of John Salone, which was quoted, the ruling is based on a holder of a written easement. There is no written easements on any of these deeds. It is my position that the notice of intent is not properly before the commission because the Wetland Protection Act of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the 310 CMR 10.054 requires all landowners to sign a notice of intent prior to submission. As my attorney noted in his letter dated April 27th, which you were aware of on the May 11th. Okay? If you recall, again, Mr. Napoli made it very clear that he would not allow or discuss any legal matter and only conservation matter. My attorney was present and clearly asked the commission if they had a copy of the letter. He had sent the commission. You stated you did not. Fast forward to May 11th. Conservation meeting, which the commission now had the letter in hand and stated, the letter stated, I am opposing the acceptance of the notice intent without all 4 owners' signatures before my application and hearing with the North Andover Conservation Commission is accepted for consideration. During this meeting, the commission agreed that all owners needed to sign the notice of intent. It was echoed by multiple board members as yourself. On May 23rd, John Moran requested to continue the public hearing that was scheduled for May 25th to June 8th tonight, because it was again under review with the town council, in which I was not aware until my attorney forwarded me the email. On May 31st, I sent an email to town council with CC mail message to the town manager, the administrator of conservation, Amy, and the applicant, Dave Kindred, asking council if they are revising or revisiting its position back to the letter dated August 25th, 2020 from the town manager. Since this issue has been almost 2 years back and forth, I never received a written reply. I followed up with Amy yesterday, June 7th, and she informed me that an opinion was provided from Town Council to the Conservation Commission. However, I'm not privy to know until tonight's meeting, which I feel I still don't have a good, solid answer on why you're accepting a notice of intent. As a homeowner, my property, as an owner of my property, the action of the town of North Andover has silenced me as a homeowner. My civil rights as a citizen of the town of North Andover and the Commonwealth have been violated. Show me where this town has accepted a notice of intent with all the owners' signatures missing. Show me. I would like to know when the town has made a decision accepting the notice of intent without all owners' signatures. If in the future I disagree with something else that wants to be done on my property, will I again have a voice or not have a voice? Does the town and the commission have the right, as an owner of Lorraine Ave, according to the law, that I'm going to be silenced again? Okay? It is my position that the notice of intent is not properly before the commission because the Wetland Protection Act of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, requires all landowners to sign a notice of intent prior to submission. If this notice of intent moves forward, I will appeal to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, as the law clearly requires, and the North Andover bylaws stated as well. Okay, so again, I've been silenced. What is stopping this committee in this town to doing it again to me or someone else? And I'd like, for my records, I'd like you provide me with a notice of intent that did not have the proper owner's signatures. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So, we're proceeding on advice of counsel. We serve at the pleasure of the Board of Selectmen for the people of the town of North Andover. Our direction comes from the town manager of the Board of Selectmen. We proceed on that basis. Town council has rendered the opinion, and that's how we're operating. So we're following our instructions, we're following our charge. It's not our decision to make or not make. So we have to, and we will proceed with the notice of intent as directed. As you pointed out very well, you have the right to appeal. When and if this closes and a decision is rendered, you have a 10-day period where you can file an appeal pursuant to both the CMR and the bylaw. I'm sorry, I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's our position as of right now. Unless we receive further information to guide us further, we're proceeding on the guidance we've received.
But, this whole thing has been back and forth.
Yeah.
2 years. August 25th, required. July 26th, because of a threat from an attorney to sue the town.
Yeah.
Okay? It went back over the other side. 2 weeks ago, May 11th, almost a month, 4 weeks ago, the council agreed with my attorney's letter that all signatures should be required. And now we're back on the other side, fourth time around, and now you're saying, but what bothers me the most is this should be public information. This should not be a top secret. Okay, I mean, this is a public meeting, and I don't have the right to know what the decision and what was it based on.
The information is available to you, just not from us. The information is absolutely available to you. It's not secret. It's not confidential. However, we can't disclose it. You have to go above us.
I did already, and they didn't respond.
Well,
I want to get into,
Okay,
Ms. Siracusa made a
I just-
very elaborate statement.
I
for
just
the
caution
record.
everybody, though.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
I just want to issue
And
that
I'm
one
being-
caution.
I'm going
and-
to try to be cautious.
Please-
There were two
please
operative
be.
phrases being put into use there. Was being silenced was said repeatedly. And I want to be crystal clear from the very first hearing, there was a lot of back and forth on the technical aspects of the proposal. and then it got into whether they even had the right to be before us or not. And at the time, our read, being experienced commissioners, was the NOI was complete. But by the time we reflected, and we did not have the attorney's letter at that meeting, by the time we got it, again, not silenced, we read it, and we took it under advisement, and considered it and referred it out to get some backup supporting information, and we did that. It was not silenced. We absolutely paid attention to it. But also during that meeting, there was an awful lot of back and forth, including Mrs. Siracusa, resulting in an ultimate project with a net improvement to everybody, including her property. So she participated actively in that at-the-table design, not silenced, participated in it. Yeah, and her engineer was here.
I disagree, because.
Well, I
there-
don't.
No,
and
the
I
only
said at the
reason I
table-
was.
No, you
what
had
I'm-
an opportunity to make your statement. I'm
No,
trying
no,
to rebut
okay.
it and get
I'm
it on
sorry.
the record as well.
I'll respond.
So I really take offense by using the word that you've been silenced. Absolutely not. You've been completely paid attention to, listened to, and worked with in order to ameliorate an ultimate permit that might solve everybody's problems as opposed to making them worse. We're tripping up on a technicality, which I'm not going to get into. We did thorough due diligence, and I'm comfortable knowing that the NOI that's before us and where we've gotten to ultimately render a decision is proper. And I'm done. I'm set with that. But never have we silenced any applicant, now or in the future.
Again, I want to caution commission members that we're operating on advice of counsel, and I beg all of you to proceed accordingly. We have been told that we can hear it and rule on it. We should be doing that and nothing else. We should be dealing with the science of the project, let the lawyers argue the legality, and that's my opinion, so that's where I'm going to go with it. Do you have anything to say?
I have nothing else.
Okay. Mr. Capuchetti, with regard to the four corners of the application.
No, based off of my recollection of the meeting I was at and then the review, it looks like they've provided the additional infiltration trenches that were requested and discussed with all parties. Beyond that, on technical issues, I mean, if you have any questions on it, I'd be more than,
Well, I just want to,
you know, but as far as legal issues, I have no statement.
well, I just want to go back to what Mr. Lynch mentioned. When I say silence,
Multiple times.
no, and I do, and let me explain, okay? Because the explain of the silence is being forced into something that I had no choice. I was not the one leading the charge, okay? That's my right as a homeowner was forced into a situation because somebody else controlled the outcome. Okay, that's where I was going with that. Okay, it's no different than if I disagree with something else in the near future. Is it going to happen again? Because I was at the mercy of the applicant and his team, okay? Because I needed to get my voice to try to protect something that I had no control over. That's what I mean by silence. Okay, let me just clarify that. That's what I meant. Okay? Did I have to go along with it? Not really, but did I have to try to protect my property? Okay, and have someone on my side and my team? Absolutely. But that didn't give me the even Steven right as a homeowner, because that project is not, my name's not on it, and my concern is the future of what's going to happen if I disagree, or anybody in this town disagrees. Does that open up a legal precedence of that's the way we're going to go? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir? Sean? Okay, are there any other abutters or applicants or anybody that wants to be heard at this time? Mr. Moran,
We're all set.
do you have a request?
We request to close the hearing.
Okay, Amy? Any comments or opinion that you want to get on the record now?
I don't think there's any other additional information that the commission needs relative to the proposal.
Okay, the chair is ready for a motion.
Move that we close this decision within 21 days.
We have a motion and a second to close and issue in 21 days. Is there any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. The matter is closed.
Thank you very much.
Let me go back to the top of the batting order, I think, here. All right, so we're going to go to 242-1839, 1160 and 1116 Great Pond Road, Brooks School. Anybody in the house from Brooks? Indeed, there you are.
Good evening.
How are you, gents?
Good, you?
Good. The floor is yours. Yep, no worries. I'm out of order here, too.
We were just waiting on planning board, right?
Planning board closed last night and issued an approval decision. The commission has had the most up-to-date materials in their hands for a couple of weeks now. No substantive comments were provided at the last discussion, and it was a matter of waiting out for the planning board to close their hearing and issue a decision, which they have. Barring any additional last-minute comments or requests for information, I think the commission
All
can
right.
move forward.
We'll go down the table real fast here. Mr. Lynch is all set.
No comments.
Tony?
No comments.
Sean? We have nothing. Are there any abutters or neighbors or anybody that wants to be heard regarding this project? None answer. We're ready for a motion.
242-1839, 1160, 1116 Great Pond Road.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. You're closed. Thank you.
Thank you. Just with that continuance, get that out of the way.
Sure will. 242-1787. Request to continue to 6/22/22.
So moved.
Motion and a,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. North Ramp Road is continued. Okay. 242-1843, 1761 Salem Street, Viera, continued from 5/25.
All right, so, Commission is entertaining a request for a certificate of compliance, thank you very much, for an outstanding order of conditions that govern the construction of the house. That was 242-111 back in the 80s. So that was requested at the last meeting before we would move forward and close on the new notice of intent. So we have a request for a certificate of compliance and basically an existing conditions plan, which we've had, with the new notice. And the applicant's engineer is here this evening. If you just want to make a brief comment on the certificate of compliance review, that would be
Do you want
great.
to do the COC now, or do you want to do it?
Yeah, let's do that first.
Okay.
Yep.
Hi, everybody. Peter Blaisdell from Williams and Sparagus. So yes, I didn't even realize this project keeps coming up with new and new surprises. So there was an order of conditions issued when I was in 7th grade, 1981. We're very, very happy to request that we have this closed out, make it nice. So anyways, we can't really speak to everything that's gone on over there, but we did overlay our current instrument survey with the plan that Amy was able to provide us with. And it does look like everything was done substantially in compliance to the best of our knowledge. Certainly can't speak for some of the other things that have gone on since then, but as far as closing out the original order, it looks like it's our opinion that can be done.
Okay. Field inspection, Amy, good?
Yep. Taylor's been out there multiple times.
No issues, no waivers? Okay.
No,
No questions.
I mean,
Anthony?
I mean, you know, obviously the building is within the 50 and a little corner of the 25, but that, it lines up with the approved plan back then.
That's,
It predates the.
It pre, yeah.
Yeah.
yep, that's
So-
fine.
Right, okay, that's
Yeah,
all.
No questions.
No questions. Any neighbors or abutters who want to be heard on this project? None to answer. Ready for a motion?
We're doing
COC
just a
first.
COC, right?
Call it.
So I move that we grant a COC for, what was the original filing?
242111.
Thank you. 111.
It's low.
It's low, right?
Second.
Motion is second to issue a COC. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Great.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Now we're on the NOI itself.
Yep.
Right, and the only thing, I'm sorry, I wasn't here for the last one, Thor was here, and then I got an email from Amy saying the only thing that we were gonna make a revision to, the one that's up on your screen, gentlemen, is, the applicant asked us to add an air conditioning unit. Apparently, he was not able to keep it outside of the 50, so it's gonna go right here.
That's an old plan.
That's right.
It's gonna
It's
go right
right
here.
back.
You have the
You don't want to be
update.
involved in that one.
No.
So, we're gonna,
Yep.
Okay, yep.
so that's the only difference right there, Joe. So because it's right there at the 50, Amy just asked that we add it in there, just so that you can approve that as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to see the record drawing.
It's on the,
You got it there?
Did you get a
guys
small
good?
one?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
the small, I got the small one. too.
And I think that's it, so unless there's any other questions, we would love to have you close this one, and
Anybody have any?
It states within inside the 50 or outside of the 50?
Outside, it's inside the 50.
the air conditioning unit, yeah, has to go inside. I guess Amy asked him if he could put it outside, but he said there wasn't any other good place he could put it, so right there at that corner of the building was it.
So there's a waiver necessary for that?
Yeah, I did,
So we'll,
In-
we'll rule on the waiver first.
Yep.
We'll consider a waiver request for that unit.
Just the updated, please.
I'll take a motion on the waiver.
so I just want you to know, I did investigate that with the homeowner,
Yeah.
and, you know, there are a series of sliding doors all at the back of the house.
Yeah.
There's no good place to put a chiller unit.
So we can consider that an alternatives analysis.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean,
Anybody want to offer a waiver?
I move that we waive the 50-foot no build for an AC unit as shown on the plan.
Second.
Motion and a second discussion?
On the waiver, just want to be clear, it almost dovetails right back into the NOI itself, and that is, you're not putting it on a foundation, you're putting it on those prefabricated fiberglass pads, no excavation involved, just some crushed stone.
I'm gonna assume it's just something that's just gonna go right on the surface, unless, you probably know more about it than I do. I don't know exactly what he.
Yeah, we know it won't go on the surface.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised when we get into the NOI, we ask for you to give us details on what that's going to be.
If
In order for that to be,
if
in order
Mr.
for
V-
me to even consider a waiver.
Yeah, I mean, if Mr. Viera can give us an idea of what he's gonna put in, we can certainly send it along.
Discretion of the commission here. We can rule or wait for the updated information.
I'm happy to do whatever you guys want to do. I mean, if you guys want to vote it, let's vote.
Well, we're in the discussion phase, so let's discuss.
Okay, on the waiver, as long as when we get to the NOI, we get that detail of how that pad's being put in.
I agree with that.
So the waiver is conditional upon receipt of details with respect to the installation of the pad.
Yes, I'd like to amend my motion
Please
as
do,
such.
please do.
Amend the motion to include details of the submission of the final notice of intent plans. Second.
Motion and second as amended. Any further discussion? There is none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous on that. There's one opposed. We have one opposed. It's not unanimous. Thank you, Sean. Okay, so now,
Okay, so now,
Now we're on the NOI. We were ready to close the last time around. The question was the abutter concern raised 2 meetings ago about encroachment. That was cleaned up at the last meeting. They acknowledged to put the monuments along that back line as well, which is shown on the plan, right? Those are the things we had until we tripped up on the old order.
Yep.
So I think we were ready to close now the waiver question, but that's minor in my opinion.
So the question is, can we close, or should we not close pending the receipt of the information we need?
I think we can condition it. What I'm proposing is that the condenser pad as shown on the plan is approved with the waiver,
Yeah,
that the pad be put on a prefabricated fiberglass
so
pad
we can condition
on
this.
stone, we can condition it, and with no excavation required beneath it.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so anything,
Doing all that, it's
And
a
then
minor.
Any variation, they'd have to come back with the.
That's right.
but
Don't be surprised that's a
as
condition.
discussed, we can make it a condition.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so then,
I have one thing, so the proposed line of boulders along the edge of the driveway. And, you know, that, it is technically a 25, although it's on the edge of the existing driveway.
So, yeah, it's my understanding he just wanted to put that there as kind of a demarcation to, you know, so that nothing goes past that.
I'd almost consider that like our
Physical barrier.
physical barrier, so
Yeah,
it wouldn't technically be work. It's something that we would require otherwise.
And what distance is it from the wetlands? Does it follow a 25-foot contour?
No, it varies, because the driveway's been there for 40-some-odd years, and I guess it's, he just wanted to put that there
Yeah.
as a, they said, like, use Tony's words, kind of a physical barrier, just to kind of, you know, demarcate where it is, and, you know.
it doesn't come into the wetland anyway, does it? It stays out?
Stays outside, but gets close, but the reality is the driveway's already there, so,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, if we would require
No,
physical
it's just-
barrier, that's where we would put it.
No, but we want to make sure it's outside, though. We like the physical barrier, we just want to make sure it doesn't,
This is the line right here, so we're all outside the line.
all outside the line. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, and he is gonna put in the posts as well.
Yeah.
That you requested, so.
The monuments, okay.
Is there a detail for the wall?
It's just gonna be rock. I mean, and again, I just put boulder wall, but he's a contractor. He said he just wants to put in some rocks there, so I don't know if they're gonna be size of a toaster oven or the size of a Volkswagen, but he just wanted to have a nice, clean line there of rock that just sort of, you know.
So is it a wall, or is it a slope? A face?
It's really just
Rock
gonna,
face slope?
he's not doing any excavation or any grading. He's just basically almost just like you do in your garden, just setting rock.
Yeah, place stone.
Yeah, just putting stones there. You know, again, I was just kind of using his words. He said boulders, but there's a little bit of a language barrier. I don't know exactly what he meant. I don't think this is going to be anything that's going to be towed in like a 3-to-1 slope.
So let
or
me tell you
anything.
why I asked the question.
Sure.
Because it is closer than the driveway, and the driveway being the closest area that's encroaching now and non-compliant. If this was coming in clean, we would want that physical barrier at 25. We're not gonna get able to get that. So
Right.
whatever it is he puts in, if it's 18 inches or 24 inches, it's that much closer to the wetland.
Right.
If he's not building a physical barrier, meaning getting it above the driveway, if he's simply sloping the face,
I don't think he's.
I'd say don't do the rock.
He's not even touching the grade. He's just literally setting rock at the edge of the gravel.
So we can,
It's hard to draw that, so I can see why you had trouble drawing that. I don't know what it is he's proposing.
Yeah.
we can condition the way we want it to be done.
Yeah.
So you're
I
rolling,
mean-
you're rolling the dice if you leave it up to us.
Yeah, describe it as well as you can.
So
gonna go
do a
into
good
it's
job,
gonna go-
because
be numbers
we're really
20-something.
good at describing what we want.
Why don't we do this?
Yeah,
We'll use Mr. Lynch's words. Why don't you got to condition the AC pad,
yep.
okay? Why don't you condition it so that, you know, we'll provide you with maybe a detail or something of what you want.
Across-
I really don't know what he wants. I mean,
Okay, a cross-section would be helpful. And
it-
a cross-section
it's
or a
literally
detail.
going to be almost nothing to draw. I don't even know how big the rock is going to be, or, you know, I don't know if it's going to be like.
We don't-
oh,
we-
That's exactly my concern.
We don't want
Yeah.
pea stone, we don't want baseball-sized rocks.
Oh, no.
okay?
So
We don't
I know
want-
you've been up there.
We don't
and-
want stream rock.
No. The gravel, my understanding is for the driveway. He just wants to, you know, smooth it out and level it out and He wants to put a physical edge in there. If I tell him you guys don't want to do it, I don't know. I really don't know. This didn't come up at the last hearing?
We're happy to have a boundary. It didn't come up. We're happy to have a boundary. We
yeah, I
can
think
describe
boundary's
the
good.
kind of boundary we like.
It's,
Here's
this is what I got,
propose.
rock.
Here's what I would propose on that. I think if,
No, we have a cross-section, we have a standard
Yeah,
stone
we
wall
get
section that we
stone wall,
use,
Okay.
that we provide to applicants.
I mean, this
so
isn't
that
a-
we get-
I mean,
so
but
that
here's
they're
the-
standardized.
This isn't a wall.
So why don't we do this? That's a great idea. So we're gonna give him the standardized cross-section of a stone wall that we like. And if you don't like it, modify it
I
and
was
come
gonna do
back.
just the opposite. I was gonna put a condition out that prohibits the installation of the rock edging without the applicant filing a modification and receiving approval of the commission to do so at a future date. I'd rather simply put it right in that we're not gonna approve it. And let them come back with a detail if he chooses to do it.
Okay, so
Rather than get into appeal and all that other stuff. Just bring it back to us if you wanna do it.
which is it?
I'd rather just,
Okay,
don't let him do it.
Anthony?
He's gonna have to come back either way, so.
I don't think we want to come back anymore. I gotta tell you, the fact that we had to come back for an AC unit is, to me, is again, it's your rules, somewhat boggling. All right, so how about this?
It's no secret how we operate.
Oh, no, I've been here for years. So your concern is, you don't want to have any rock within the 25-foot or within the 50-foot?
No.
It's just too,
It's too
Okay.
nebulous. It's too nebulous.
so,
Even your note clarifies just how nebulous you know it is.
Well-
It's shown for information purposes, and the dimensions are open for discussion, I think you say. Rock size is shown for discussion purposes only and are not necessarily the diameter to be installed. There's the note. I mean, how the hell can we approve that?
I couldn't be any more vague. I have to, you
Exactly,
really
and how
have
can we
to,
approve it? And how can we approve it?
you have to give me a kind of a tip of the hat to that one.
that was a nice try.
No, all right,
It's
listen.
accurate.
So you're gonna get an
I
A for
gotta
effort?
tell you, I don't know.
So-
I really don't know.
So we're gonna invite you back.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna ask Mr. Vieira to come next time, because I feel that maybe he's the only one that can explain what he wants to do, because,
You really gotta do your homework, though,
Well-
if you come back on this. We're really particular about stone walls, okay? And
but here's the thing, this is not a stone wall.
so
That's exactly the problem,
It's-
because the only way I think we're gonna give a waiver, which is what it is
Yeah.
if it is a stone wall. I think to fortify a slope with rock,
Oh, see,
Well,
Doesn't
this
protect the
isn't
wet.
I
for,
don't
but
think
this,
that's
took
what
it
they're
as
gonna
like
do.
just.
but this
place-
isn't
just-
for,
He just
No,
wants
what I
to
do
plop
it all out
boulders.
in English
Right.
garden or something like
no,
that.
that's not what I
this
read.
is, this would be like putting in an edge.
I don't think it is at all.
So this is not a wall.
It's not
It's-
riprap slope, it's not.
It's not a
armor.
riprap slope.
No,
It's not to
no.
armor anything. It's not to anchor anything. It's not to retain anything.
Like an English garden.
Exactly. All he wanted to do is put some rocks there just at the edge of the drive, because he said sometimes when he first came here, sometimes after a rainstorm, he said sometimes the gravel washes down.
That's not what your note says. Let
It
me
washes-
read your note in completeness now. The applicant is to install a line of rocks along the edge of the gravel drive.
Yep.
That's what you just said. To prevent materials from washing into the wetlands. A line of rocks does nothing to prevent, which leads me to believe he's looking to provide a revetment, a rock stabilized slope, which is not what we would approve. That's what that says. That's what that note. And then further goes on to say, and by the way, I don't know what he really wants to do. Please discuss this.
So,
How can we approve it?
okay, it's rock. It's just rock set at the edge of the driveway. We're not trying to throw a fastball by you. But
No,
why don't we do
it's
this?
a curveball.
No. That would be more of a slider. My
It's an
understanding.
ephes
Listen,
curve.
it was high and inside, we're
So
not
my
gonna swing
understanding
for
is that
it,
over time, some of this gravel has washed down onto the grass.
which we don't want to happen.
Right, we don't want that to happen.
So you gotta tell us how you're gonna stop it.
He just suggested putting some rocks there so that it kind of holds the gravel back. Now, is it a wall? No. Is it a riprap slope? No.
Curb?
You could call it a lip, a curb.
Why don't you, you had a
What
great
if
idea.
we-
Go
what
back
if
to,
we-
go back to your client,
Good deal.
talk about it, come
So
forward
this
with
didn't
it.
come, this is the first time this has come up?
Yeah.
I'm just really shocked that we have to come back again for this. Okay, we'll continue.
Was that under earlier
We're gonna-
versions?
We're
I
gonna
don't
do
know
a
that
better
being on
job
earlier
of
versions.
reviewing your plan.
What's that?
No, it was.
Was?
Yeah.
I didn't, yeah, got it.
No, this has been on the
No,
plan
it's
for
been
quite
on
a
the
time.
plan. It has.
So we'll do a better job of reviewing this for you.
No, it's not on you guys, seriously. It's not on you guys. I'm trying to relay what he said he wanted to do. He said he wanted to he just said he wanted to, reestablish the landscaped island that was in the middle. He wanted to kind of refurbish the area because it's been run down. He said, I think it might look nice if I put some rock at the edge of the driveway. That'll keep some of the gravel from washing down the slope. I could not have anticipated that this was going to cause us up a discussion, but I certainly see where you gentlemen have come from. I'm going to continue and tell him either we have to come up with something better or we're going to take it off. So, I mean, I'll put it this way. As of right now, I would love to just take it off because I think this is probably been more of a...
As long as it's all stabilized when it's done.
Well, he's not doing any excavation down there at all. All he's doing is he wants to smooth over the gravel driveway. We already told him he can't do any filling inside the floodplain. If he wants to go out and smooth it over, he can smooth it over. I would never, I mean, I would never anticipate, I look at this like, again, like Tony said, English garden, put in just some edge stones there just to kind of hold it back. But I will let him know that either we have to come up with some type of a detail or we're going to take it off.
I can provide you with the stone wall detail that the commission.
It's not a stone wall.
I don't think he wants a wall.
Okay.
He doesn't want a stone wall.
It's not a stone wall. If you have a stone edge detail or like, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so, yeah, please come back with whatever it is you think you want to do.
Move to continue.
I'll try. Just let me know.
Okay.
Move to continue.
Motion to continue.
We'll continue.
A motion and a second to continue. Any discussion, any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed,
June
that's unanimous.
22nd meeting.
You're continued.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, thanks, Peter, sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
We got the CLC, so we got 500.
Yeah, but I didn't know I had to get a COC until last time. I was just wondering. All right, so
500, you got a waiver.
Right?
I mean,
Yes.
666.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you guys are damning with faint praise.
Oh, boy.
All right. Sorry here, guys, I'm losing track. 242-1844, 393 Salem Street, Duncan, continue from 5/25/22.
Come on up. All righty. Let's see here, Salem. All right. Plan. All right.
Is this the one we asked for a better plan?
Yes, we did,
Okay,
and we received it.
and we got a better plan.
We got a better plan, a
Okay.
1:20 scale. All of the existing fencing is called out, and a stockpile area is shown for the construction of the proposed addition. There was some yard waste within the piles within the 25-foot no disturb zone. The homeowner removed those and provided a plan for a new location for composting, which is out of the 50. Commission had no other questions or concerns about the project other than that, and so I think the commission can move forward with closing the hearing and issuing in 21 days.
Joseph?
No questions.
Anthony?
One small question. I know what the intent is, just that, to put on the record that the yard waste should be wholly contained on the applicant's lot. It's kind of shown over the lot line in that sketch.
Yeah, okay.
But I know that the intent is to do so, but just so it's on the record,
Okay.
that's it.
No questions. No questions, sir.
Any abutters or neighbors? Anybody concerned out there? Nobody answers. Time for a motion.
I move that we close the notice of intent for 242-1844, 393 Salem Street, and issue a decision in 21 days or less.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. You're closed.
Thank you very much, sir. So you can expect a permit within 21 days.
Okay.
The list of conditions, and we can go through it together.
Great, thank you,
Okay,
Amy.
thanks.
I was nervous.
No, that's okay. I knew it was going to be fairly straightforward. Thanks.
242, no DE file number 463, Winter Street, Birch Lane, LLC. Do we have is there still no DEP number on this?
We don't have a DP. No, we don't.
All right, so just so you understand, we can't close.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, very good.
Winter Street, full plan. Alrighty. So this project entails upgrade of an existing septic system with a new EnviroSeptic wastewater treatment system. The Board of Health has reviewed and approved the system, and approval letter is on file. The location of the new septic system is roughly within the same footprint of the old and is at the top of the flat part of the rear yard and outside of the 50-foot no-build zone. The backyard slopes towards the wetland, and that slope is mainly wooded at the moment. I reviewed the wetland line and found it to be accurate. That's a CCAMP delineation. The property abuts natural heritage habitat but is not within it, and no other resources are on site. The new owner is a contractor, and he intends to flip the house. He's in the midst of renovating the interior and the exterior. And I did chat with him on site today, knowing that, you know, when you're preparing a property for the market, there's always some other things that they want to get done. He mentioned that he'd like to be able to rehab the stairs that lead down from the rear deck, because they're kind of hanging on by a limb, and take off the existing decking on the main deck and just replace it with new boards. There's that covered porch to the north, sort of like a sunroom. And it's screened in basically, and so there's some rotted trim, and he'd like to remove those screened inserts basically and redo those. So, and that sunroom is mostly out of the buffer zone. So those are the other two things that, you know, he could anticipate that he wanted to do before he put it on the market. But so other than that, that's it in a nutshell. And we don't have a DP file, but the project engineer, Tom Mineta, is here this evening with us if you have questions for him.
Sean, I'm going to start with you.
Have anything else?
Okay?
I'm comfortable with it as far as doing the work on the stairs. If it's outside the 50, that's fine. So if you want to put it under the same NOI, I don't see any issue with that.
Sir?
Same here, I second that.
Yep, no issues. One question, access for construction vehicles and Stockpile, the driveway?
Yes, yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's really the only way.
The only way to
That's what
get
I
it.
thought too. I
Yeah.
just wanted to
Yep,
make sure, and again, it's been discussed, so it's,
yep.
So is it called out?
it is not called
It's
out
not
on the
called
plan,
out.
but
So
It's,
the construction access should be called out, should it not?
okay. Yep, I mean, we can, but it's really obvious when you get on site.
It's the only access to the site. It's that driveway loops right around the house. You can't get around that backyard any other way due to
No.
the slope and ledge.
So we can call that out in an order of conditions then?
We
Yep.
did.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah,
very
no,
good.
I'm fine with
No,
that.
as long as we can lock, that's important.
Yes.
Okay, all right, very good. I don't have any questions. Joe?
Do we have a stamped copy in the record drawings? I know this started out as a septic design and ran its route that way, but then some changes. And I know what we have doesn't have any.
Yeah.
It just that what we have doesn't have it. Okay.
We can't close anyway because there's no
Right.
DEP.
I just want to make sure we had
So I guess
the minimum
it-
filing requirements.
Oh, yeah, because you got the electric, we got Vernal Block
Got it, okay.
on all of them.
Okay.
So we have to continue.
Okay.
And if there are no changes, modifications, or anything else has to come forward, I think Amy could probably prepare an order of conditions so we could close and issue the same night.
Sounds good.
All right, so we need a motion to continue.
So moved.
Any abutters?
Are there any neighbors who want to be heard? None answer. Thank you. Motion to continue?
Already made it.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
And
Thank
that's
you.
Yeah,
June
continue, thanks.
22nd.
All right.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yep, thanks.
Okay, COCs, 242, 1828, 290 Webster Woods Lane. You back?
I'm back.
Peter.
I know. All right. So,
You're a gambler, that's for sure.
no, I've had worse. Tony works in Wakefield with me. It's just as fun. So, 290 Webster Woods Lane. My understanding is that after our instrument survey, everything was in accordance with what was approved on the order of conditions from the November 1st, 2021 issuance, with a slight modification, which was noted as this is 3-to-1 riprap slope that was incorporated. It's still well out of the 50-foot no-build zone. It's just that was the only slight change that was done from the approved plan.
Yeah, there was no issues during construction. You know, it was in compliance the entire time. It's totally stable, erosion controls are out.
Where it says boulder riprap, how big were the boulders?
No, okay, because I was gonna.
All right, let me see. Any questions?
They're not in the 25.
I know.
Yeah,
I have no question. I guess, yeah, it's old news. We're fine.
No questions.
Right?
So the approved plan shows a bunch of trees on the west side, west of the house, closer to the wetland.
okay.
Well, I guess is that entirely us? No, some of that is within the 100-foot buffer, like the northwest side.
Oh, they're still there.
They are still there. Okay, 'cause
Yeah,
it's just
I
showing
guess
on lawn.
the as-built just,
Okay.
Oh, okay. You just
Drop
wanted,
them.
we just, yeah.
I just want to make sure that area was
They just got
oh
turned
yeah,
off.
no,
cleared without.
no.
No.
Okay.
No, that was limited
Okay.
work. They just didn't add those
Gotcha.
back
Okay.
in.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Sean?
No question.
Any neighbors, abutters, friends, foes? Nobody. Nobody answers. Motion.
That we grant a certificate of compliance for 2-foot 1828 for 290 Webster Woods.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further?
I'd like to amend it to include ongoing conditions.
Okay.
Yes.
It's,
Okay.
Anyway.
As amended, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
lady.
All right.
Let's see, where are we here?
Appreciate it.
No, 1761, that's all done. We dealt with that, right?
We're done with that.
All right, okay.
Well, I'll be back. I'll be back.
Yeah,
22nd?
just not tonight, though, right?
Right.
You're all
I've already had one shot from Tony.
Yeah.
I'm all done.
Yeah.
He doesn't get two.
You're a wise man. All right, small projects, NACC number 294, 268 Raleigh Tavern Lane. Small project has a plan and everything.
The applicant seeks approval under Category L, which is other similar projects of minimal impact as determined by the NACC. Project entails replacing the existing front walkway with new pavers. The existing dimensions are about 4-foot width by 40-foot long, so under 200 square feet. The house, driveway, and landscaping lie between the walkway and the wetland, posing very little risk of impact to the wetland for this work. Let's see. So I recommend finding that the project qualifies as a small project Category L, and then approve the project with conditions that require pre-construction site visit with homeowner and contractor to review scope of work. All materials shall be stored in the driveway, and any soils should be taken off-site to an appropriate facility, and then a post-construction site visit to verify compliance.
All right, why don't we start with Sean tonight?
I have no questions.
No.
Oh, no questions.
No questions.
Joseph?
On the small project, I have no questions, but I do have a question. Has this site been before us for any other action?
Yes, we
The
recently.
swing set, right?
Yes. Well, it was the rear deck,
Yeah.
and then a patio that got built without approval, and then an after-the-fact RDA for the patio, and.
My question is are all those things closed
all
out so we
those-
can consider a small
everything-
project?
Yes, absolutely.
That's important to know.
We're
Look
closed
familiar.
out. Sorry, forgot to, I thought it was fresher in your memories.
Yeah, I'm all set, thank
Yeah,
you.
we're all set with that.
Everything's complete. No questions, that'd be all that.
Motion.
I move that we approve this as a subsection L with the conditions that Amy had just referenced.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Enforcement orders. Amy, you're up. First enforcement order is listed as 60 Campbell Road.
Yep,
It's continued back from October.
okay. The homeowner is here with us, Tate.
How's it going?
Hi.
Been a while.
Wyatt.
All right.
I hope we're keeping you entertained anyway.
Absolutely.
All right,
This
that's
is,
good.
this is
I
quite
don't
the
want you to
process.
be bored napping back there and all that
Nope.
stuff, you know.
All right.
All right, who's up?
So I'm going to pull up some pictures here. All right, so the commission will recall issuing an enforcement order to restore a slope at the back of the house that was bulldozed with some soil over the top. So it was to return the slope to the original profile, take care of the trees at their roots, to uncover them, seed with a native shade-tolerant seed mix, and plant with the planting plan that was approved. And then a field stone wall at the top of the slope. All of these activities have been supervised by the wetland consultant. Taylor was out there today and found the slope to start to be in really good shape. We have a 100% erosion control blanketing. The seed mix is starting to sprout. The woody vegetation that was planted looks healthy, and it's in really good shape. The existing erosion controls are still functioning well, and actually throughout the whole time, we really didn't have a lot of erosion at all. It was just that type of soil that just didn't erode. So, and so we have our stone wall at the top, which looks great. The markers will be installed. I think you found an epoxy or something.
Yeah, whatever you guys are comfortable
Yeah.
with, Tapcons or epoxy is fine by me,
Yeah,
so
So,
whatever you prefer.
yep. And Taylor, I don't know if you want to add anything, but
No, I think everything looks good overall. Very good germination. All the plants look healthy and are according to the plan. The wall looks great. Everything is stable, so I think it's in good condition.
yep.
Joe?
So from here,
Someone to compliment someone on enforcement order compliance, but wow, good work.
yeah, it looks
That was
really
a lot of
good.
work, and you did a good job.
Appreciate
Looks
it.
really good.
Just gotta wait for the plans to establish and give us the time to prove that they're gonna survive.
Yep,
Yep.
thank you.
Good job.
I like it. I don't have any questions. Anthony?
No, I think it looks great.
I'm not even familiar with this.
It looks really good.
It's really good.
Nice job.
So,
John?
yeah.
I concur with everything.
All right, so since this is an enforcement order,
So
the only thing you're looking for is
we need two
growing seasons?
Two growing seasons of monitoring
Okay,
and making sure there's the, percentage of overall survivorship. So I guess,
So it's completion of this season and next fall, or is there into next spring? Just so we're clear.
I think it's two full growing seasons.
full
So
so when were they
post-installation,
actually
so
planted?
Third week in May.
Third week in May.
Gotcha.
So
Okay,
May 23, May 24, so the fall of 2024, right?
all right, so do you want to amend the EO to reflect that? And
No, I think we've got,
do we
I mean,
need,
we had a deadline of
June 1st.
June 1st, so,
2023 now? But this will be the first year, next year will be 2 years, right?
They just went in, so they haven't
they
grown
just
yet.
went in, they don't,
So you have the conclusion of the first growing season.
which ends in the
well, the
fall?
first,
Right, but so that starts the first, right? Because usually if you plant in May,
Fall 2023.
Yeah, if you
Fall
plant,
of
like if you
23.
plant, like if you plant in like July or August,
Right,
that's
right.
not gonna count as a full growing
Fall
season.
of
Okay.
23, I
It
agree.
depends on
Yeah,
when
he
the
does,
plants
right.
push growth,
Yeah.
right?
Fall,
Like,
spring to fall.
Exactly.
could be in a month, just depending on the variety,
Right.
but whatever you guys are comfortable with.
That was a half-assed question I asked.
Sounds like the
For
commission
Spring and
is-
fall, I was trying to get the, it's the fall is the next growing
Sounds like the
season, not
opinion
this,
is
but
fall of
next.
23, is
I
that what I'm
think, yeah, I
hearing?
think so.
Fall of 23?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Because this would be
hearing.
the first full growing season.
Fall of
Okay,
20, fall of
okay,
22
all
would
right.
be the first.
All right, gotcha. All
So
right,
monitoring at the end, in this fall, and then monitoring next fall.
got it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
just bought you a year there.
Appreciate it, thank you.
So,
So we need to take no action at all, because it simply leaves the EO open, but.
Yes.
But work on your part is just hope they grow, and they will.
you just gotta keep them alive.
Yeah, watering, I mean, the EO calls out for watering if we need it.
Does this pass to move forward with the NOI?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, so you're good to do the other activities that are covered by the notice of,
Perfect.
the order of conditions. Yep. So he met his deadline, and he's in good shape.
Okay, so, no action.
No action, just a.
No action, just monitor.
Just a, yep,
Okay.
Do we need a site visit for the other stuff, or?
yeah, just.
Okay, just,
to-
it's just the
just
plantings in the
quick-
front,
yeah.
but, okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, I'll email you.
All righty.
And I'll get you that check.
Oh, yeah.
Can I bring it
Oh,
by tomorrow?
For the markers. Great.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you, you're good.
Thanks.
Thank you
Enjoy
very
the
much.
evening.
Thank you for doing a good job.
You too.
40 flagship, are we in the take no action phase at this time? Just
Action.
continue? So,
I mean, no,
no change?
site is
No,
stable,
no
no
NOI.
activity.
Site stable, but there's no NOI?
He's
No,
not
I
building
know.
anything, he's.
It's not doing anything
Okay.
out there. We're just waiting for the notice of
So-
intent, and the fines are accumulating.
Okay, fines are accruing, all right. No need to even ask any questions, just,
We just keep continuing it.
all right. You do the math, right?
We do the math.
Okay, very good.
Yep,
191 Granville Lane, Lynch,
all righty.
not Mr. Lynch, who's seated to my left.
All righty.
How are you?
Hi.
how are you? Good, good.
Alrighty, I'll just give a rundown. So on May 26th, while investigating a house fire that occurred at 191 Granville, the building inspector alerted us of a sump pump being discharged directly into the BVW from the basement. This is a basement fire situation. Conservation staff visited the property the same day and observed that the sump pump had already been disabled. And upon further examination of the wetland resource area, we saw a white caramely color substance coming into the wetland out of that discharge pipe. And that.
Caramel, was it?
No, it wasn't caramel. It was just caramel colored. It wasn't fluffernutter either. No. You know, the substance is believed to be a result of, you know, the fire suppression materials and perhaps demolished gypsum board or drywalls and stuff like that. Let's see. So we issued a violation letter just to say, you know, don't operate the sump anymore. Electricity to the property is cut, so they're not currently inhabiting the house right now. The field inspector visited the property today, and the white caramel color material is gone. He poked around in the soils to see if maybe it was hiding in there, but, you know, he didn't see anything. He even walked an extra 50, 70 feet beyond what, you know, where the extent of it was in the wetland, and he didn't see anything, so it seems as though that the wetland took care of it. Disregard the report on the rear deck. We were able to find a aerial from, so the deck was there when he bought the house, and that was in 2004. So we were able to find aerial in 2001 that the deck was there. So
Good.
forget that. We just had trouble finding a good aerial to show that. So I guess the only outstanding issue is a sump pump that's like discharging and the daylight is right at the wetland.
All right, so that, we're dealing with a sump pump,
Yeah,
a relocation of a sump pump.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Lynch, I'm sure you have a great idea. If you don't, I have one.
So some pumps can be pumped, or some pumps can tie into a permanent drain, and I'm not sure what you have. This is a combination of the two. So I wouldn't
think they-
necessarily say defeating the sump pump's a very important thing, but a perimeter drain that's been there and continues to be there, I think is no problem. So I don't think eliminating the pipe is the issue, but I think a physical disconnection and proof that it's disconnected of the pump to a pipe system is what we want to see.
oh, yeah,
In
okay.
the photos,
When was the house originally built?
right there. That's
Oh,
81, I believe.
So in looking at the size of that pipe, that's probably not, and I guess I'm looking just by a photograph. All right, there you go, that's perfect. I think it shows just what I was talking about. It's an air gap out of your sump pump down into what picks up your perimeter drain.
Correct.
So, not just an air gap separation, that's not enough. Physical disconnection of the pump inside, but that outfall is your perimeter drain, do not block that.
Okay.
Do you think you have problems without a sump pump? You wait till you prevent the water from getting out.
I would cap those sort of animals.
Cap these, yes.
oh, yeah, so the
Gotcha.
animals don't get in.
But the discharge into the wetland itself, it being part of the perimeter system, don't touch that. That's all.
Yeah, so that's, what is that, like, that's just like groundwater.
Right.
Yeah, the perimeter goes around the outside, it's down at the footing level.
Yeah.
Usually just below floor slab.
Okay.
Any groundwater coming up, idea is to get there and out
And get
into
it out of
the
there.
reality is the wetland's so close, it probably doesn't drain a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
But anything on a pump system, you certainly don't want to put that out there, so.
And tying that into your perimeter drain, as Joe was saying, if that pipe at the end gets plugged up, now you're just gonna
Now-
force it back into
You
the
just
house.
circle pump it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, so.
And I had mentioned to Taylor, in 18 years, we don't have a water table. We'd never hear that thing cycling. It was because of the 100 gallons of water from the
Yeah,
fire.
that's,
Yeah,
It was like,
so you don't need it.
but yeah, I totally get it. It's separated now, and we will comply fully.
When you say separated, you don't mean just by this method here.
No, I meant
Physically disconnected inside.
correct.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what we want to see.
But he can
And-
you can relocate that. You can daylight that in the front yard away from.
Absolutely. In
and-
fact, the whole house, right? So we're homeless right now. So
Yeah.
it'll be 6 to 8 months. There'll be a full certificate of occupancy, tons of contractors, and we'll be back for all of that because it will be a full rebuild for the whole basement's a loss.
Yeah.
So whatever we want to stipulate to reload it, this is the time, right? We can do that.
Yeah,
It's not a
just
problem.
daylight it out away from the wetland, bring it out front.
Yeah,
there'll be
we
a
have a
nice- there'll
pump
be a
up
nice
for the
green
septic
patch
out
right
in the
there.
front anyway. So I mean, we
Yeah,
can go
don't
into the.
discharge it over your septic system.
No. I meant like, we already have pump ups to
Yes.
to the front of the house, so we can have the contractors do that.
Okay.
Nobody was injured in the fire, I'm afraid to ask, but
I have second and third, but
Oh.
I'm in week 3 and they.
last thing you needed was an enforcement order from us, but
Exactly.
thanks for
Oh, I
helping with
didn't
us.
But Taylor was really good about
Thanks
it.
for
He was
helping
just
us
so
out.
cool. He was so cool about it. He's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "I appreciate you asking me." He's been really nice.
We feel the same.
All right, so,
So, do you want to issue a friendly enforcement order, just saying daylight your sump?
well, you're gonna be, you said you're gonna be engaging a contractor and rebuilding the house?
Oh yeah, you're looking at.
So they're gonna be
6
coming in
months.
front of us with an NOI, sounds like.
At some point, somebody will. Yeah, I'm gonna use a
So
contractor.
I guess the enforcement order right now should just simply say, do not discharge
Right.
into the wetland, and leave that in place until they come, that'll be what I think, anyway. Thou shalt not discharge.
So what kind of rehab do you guys need to do to the house? Like
What we're told was the whole first floor, because the fire went. They hired first. There's no bathrooms, nothing. We couldn't move in for 6 to 8 months.
Jesus.
So from the outside, it looks like it's kosher. Everything looks great.
So it's a lot, it's
It's mostly interior damage,
work.
but there were some joists, and it was a boiler fire.
Okay.
So there were some joists that are 3/4 burned through, so they're telling me they gotta rip everything up, all the way up, to get at it for the structural. Paul tells me the structural damage is extensive, and it's near the fireplace where all of that is. And so basically all new systems in the house, plus all the floors, all of that. Bathrooms are right there. There's a whole bunch of stuff, so.
So let's not rely on a future NOI coming forward, because it may, God, let's hope it's only, structural work inside, you're not doing anything outside. Let's hope that, but I think
that's
the
what
enforcement
my
order
hope
simply
is.
needs to say is physically disconnect the pump,
Yes.
show us that it's been physically disconnected and never reconnected. That's all it needs to say.
Okay.
Well, if they had to run it, they could daylight it out front, if they had to,
They could do it to any other location, as long as it's
Just
not
not-
25 feet,
not in the
within
wetlands,
25.
that's all, yeah.
Yeah. Go on the other side of the house or something, sure, when they do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you find you have to run it, just run it out front.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a follow-up letter?
I guess just a follow-up letter.
Okay.
That's my
I
guess.
just want to make sure you're comfortable with that avenue.
It sounds like they get their hands full. Yes.
Okay.
We don't need to pile on here.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
No. All right, so we'll
Taylor's
just
like,
follow up with a
the deck's
letter.
not in the plot plan. I'm like, oh my God, it was there when we bought it, I promise.
Oh, we got it, yeah.
We have
We
good
figured
forensic
it out.
work.
You guys are good.
They help
Like,
people, they
you
help
found an
people out.
aerial view. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
We're always watching from
I'm
somebody.
shocked Susie, when they did the Title V, didn't put it in the, that's
Yeah,
weird.
I don't know why that got left off, but anyway.
Anyway, we appreciate it.
All
Thank you.
right, thanks.
All right, thanks. Good
All
luck
right,
going forward.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Dig in here. Okay, the Foster Street heating oil spill.
We have no
Yes.
reps here this evening. I provided you with, a brief update on,
Sheens, new sheens, some additional work being done. Pat said he was gonna go out there, did he?
Yes, I met with him, Ryan, and Mike Sabulis last Wednesday. We spent about an hour there, and Pat said he would be coming back to do additional investigation and.
When I meant Pat, as I meant the Clean Harbors guy who was gonna
That's-
put more, no, Pat.
Oh,
was
yes.
gonna put
Oh,
more
sorry,
booms
we're
up.
talking about.
I know,
okay.
shame on me.
No,
I
that's
should've-
all right. No, Clean Harbors did respond to our request to do an additional boom at the left descending bank with additional absorbents. They did that the next day.
Okay.
So,
At your request, though.
oh, yeah.
Not
Yes.
self-initiated.
Yeah,
You-
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay,
Yes,
thank
yeah. So we're waiting for lab results from the additional testing upstream and at SD3 transect. So and there was no need to have anyone here because there was nothing to discuss. other than
Ryan was out there as well, and
Yeah, it's,
your observations, if you care.
yeah, I guess I didn't really fully understand the extent, during the last couple meetings, but actually going out there and seeing it, I'm a little appalled at how little containment was done. If that's what's out there now, then, and it's 5-6 months later, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous that they're not going out there every once in a while and at least taking a look to make sure the booms are in place still.
They
There's-
they were out there 3-4 times a week, and they've cut back a little bit, but
So were they seeing
they-
the same sheens that we were when they were doing these inspections? Because I guess what I'm saying is you could do a drive-by and look at the boom, because there's really only booms.
No,
You know what I mean? Are they actually getting out and
yeah, they were
inspecting the
changing
areas?
absorbents and stuff. And
But the stuff that
Yeah.
we saw out there, right?
Yeah.
So like, if they're installing booms, is that it? Are they just trying to keep it in one spot? Are they actually trying to, out there with pads, trying to soak up, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
I think they need to do every single thing they can do physically in the field right now to get what they can out of there. Even though it's not fun, you got to go out there and get dirty
I know.
and soak.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right.
Like that is literally their job.
The
in this
tone that we've
instance.
taken on, it's been 5.5 months of trying to
It's
convince them of
ridiculous.
that.
Yep.
They haven't done it yet. They're quick to respond when we point it out sometimes.
24 hours.
But on their initiative, on their own, they're doing,
Yeah.
they're mailing it in.
Well, Clean Harbors is rather large, and this isn't a big project for them, so I'll just say that. I know that from experience dealing with all kinds of different consultants over the years, and it's unfortunate because this is, it's important to us, right? So it's a little disrespectful that they don't take that into consideration, and we're just sort of like a number, right? Where
Yeah, I agree with that.
it's not appropriate. And what I saw, that was absolutely not acceptable. The number of, if they put those booms out there when it first happened, even that was unacceptable, right? So even what's out there now is bare minimum 5.5 months later, right? So the fact is, it's been continued non-compliance and basically not caring, from my perspective. So that's all. I mean, seeing it is much
Didn't
different
take
than
you long to
talking
ramp
about
up
it.
onto us, onto
Oh,
our issues.
oh, no. At first, my first couple of meetings, I'm like, man, what's going on here? You
Yeah,
know? And then I saw it, I'm like, yeah, I get it now. So I think we need to really, we're gonna have to do work on our end as well to keep them in line, because we can't rely on them to do the right thing.
Yep.
Well, that's why,
So-
that's why I asked you guys, and you did, to bring Pat on board, to at least have something that we're doing, because clearly, I've been saying it since January, that it's not a priority for them. They're mailing it in at best, and so we have to take it upon ourselves to clean up our property. That's our property. We
It's
own it.
unfortunate, but I agree. I mean, it's the only way it's actually gonna happen.
Yeah.
And Pat said the same thing. He's like, why aren't they out here putting these booms out? And,
Well, in
it's
January, they
simple
told us
stuff.
they weren't out there because the conditions were too dangerous. That was in January.
And
not
to
a
some
really
extent,
dangerous spot, like-
we agreed, we were sympathetic to the difficulty.
Not all of us.
It was difficult, but we didn't find that to be an excuse
It
for
was a
not doing
bullshit answer
anything.
then, and it's a
I mean, they
bullshit
work in
answer now.
Alaska, they can work in North Andover and
I
January.
have no sympathy. I've done field work
That's right.
all over the
That's
country
right.
in all kinds of conditions, and I
Okay.
didn't complain once.
Yeah, yeah.
Get out there and do your
And
job.
do it,
Hey,
yeah.
you know, you have a job where you get wet, you get wet. That's the way you do it. All right.
What- yeah,
All
but-
right, so we'll,
Well, thank you for being out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I was able to go out and take a look, and I'm on board with whatever you guys feel is necessary to make it happen.
We're gonna be getting lab results at the next meeting, maybe?
yes,
Okay,
okay. So we'll just continue to 6:22.
all right. All right, so, 27 Charles Street, the Lawrence Airport.
Yep.
We have the A-team here tonight.
You too.
Randy, good to see you.
It's like a cliche calling them frequent flyers.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Madam Administrator, Michael Miller, Airport Manager. Pleasure to be here.
Nice to see you.
And Randy Christensen, Wetland Scientist, StatTech Consulting Services.
so the commission will recall issuing a friendly enforcement order to allow the airport to do some stream bank fortification in specific areas of the airport stream at the end of Grosvenor's. And those have, they're
10-inch quarter mesh logs.
10-inch quarter logs, pretty beefy, and they haven't really been tested very much.
No.
I mean, we've received monitoring reports after rain events, and the water is staying inside the banks and hasn't really even touched the quarter logs, so if you want to.
Sure. So since the enforcement order had the monitoring requirement of a half-inch or greater over a 24-hour period, that was issued in February, late February. Since that time, 7 events occurred. Between March and May, with the minimum, we did a couple that were near a half-inch. They ended up being just under. The maximum one that occurred was in May, early May, and it was 1.35 inches. Pretty significant storm, and that was a 12-hour period frequency, intensity. So we saw a good range, seven events since the enforcement order, and the 0.33 inch one and the 1.35 inch one had the same characteristics in our study section of the stream, which is the one we found could be overtopped when you had significant events, and that's why we put the core mesh logs there to build it up and see if we could help contain any storm water flows and alleviate some of the issues that are happening down at 27 Charles. As Amy said, all those events we monitored, many of them very early in the morning and late at night, did not result in the overtopping that would in any way affect 27 Charles. However, in looking at the data and now getting a lot more familiar with the flows in that section of stream, we have identified some things that might help the situation. And what, in speaking with Mike, the Airport Commission, not even involving MassDOT, because the amount of construction that might be involved here would require a grant to do that. It would not be in the I guess, in the budget of the airport themselves, so we would involve an agency with this. But we think maintaining that section of the stream where we currently have the core mesh logs, matching the hydraulic capacity above and below, where it is noticeably filled in over the years, we think it's a good idea. Let's keep that water in those banks. And we know it's not overtopping above and below where we have the core mesh logs. You would have seen evidence of that. We never have in now that about 2 years that we've been reviewing that section. So what we would propose here tonight, part of the enforcement order was this meeting. This meeting was scheduled in the enforcement order. We would suggest the next phase being preparation of a notice of intent and design to maintain that section of the stream on the airport property. If that is acceptable to the commission, I would also ask one of two things. Either eliminate the continued monitoring through this growing season now, with the vegetation growing up and now the ground, fairly dried out and things like that. We're just not seeing any response to the stream that's threatening 27 Charles at the present time. If that's not acceptable to the commission, we would definitely ask for an increase in the storm that we're responsible for. A ½ inch just isn't doing it, so upping it to maybe an inch rainstorm event that we would be responsible for going out and looking at, we would appreciate that. So those are the two things we're asking as a result of all the data we've collected, and would like to discuss it.
Mr. Lynch?
At one point in your initial investigation, there was some suggestion that maybe the source of the water was coming off your property and onto your property from abutters.
We clearly identified multiple sources that all end up down at 27 Charles Street. So you can't point one. It is multiple sources, as is typical of a watershed, let's face it. That's what happens.
So these remedies that you've tried and are going to continue to try through an NOI would speak to those sources originating from your property and do nothing to ameliorate whatever they've contributed.
That is correct. I think in a worst case scenario, what we would do would allow 27 Charles to eliminate this particular channel in their investigation and look elsewhere. Okay. In the best case scenario, maybe it will alleviate their problem.
I just want to be clear that you guys are doing everything within your jurisdiction and with your line of responsibility, let's say. But it may not solve the problem. I just want to be clear on that is not being originating by anything that you can control.
We're eliminating at least one source, and I'm thinking in the design there might be an ability very easily to add it to our design that might eliminate a second source as well.
Okay. With regards to the ongoing enforcement order in changing the frequency of monitoring, you suggested perhaps a 1 inch storm. What are you defining? Like 1 inch within 24 hours?
We're thinking 1 inch over a 24-hour period. So you think any sort of the flashy summer type storms are more significance with impact? I think it is going to be those short duration, high intensities of 1 inch or more that are going to cause us the problems. We're seeing these ½ inches falling over a 12-hour period. No response at all. The stream it's not even a hiccup. So that's why we're just trying to focus our attention and the people, it's me, Dom, and Mike going out there, trying to concentrate on the higher events if we can.
Okay. So if you got a gully washing rainstorm that's 1 inch in 20 minutes, you're there anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You're there anyway.
Yeah.
So you're saying that
The 1 inch is the trigger.
even if it's 1 inch within the 24, you'll be out there on those types of rains as well.
Yep. In fact, tomorrow is possibly forecasted for an
That's
inch
what-
rainstorm. We've already
exactly
talked
what
about
I
it.
did.
We've talked about
Long
the
duration
coverage.
storm.
Yep, we're all set. So
Okay,
We're
I'm good.
anticipating
I'm all
being
set.
there in the height of it in the morning.
Yeah. All right. Anthony?
Yeah, I have no problems with rolling back on the monitoring, and again, if you back out you must be able to calculate what the bank full, storm flow is.
Yeah.
If you come back and submit additional data, I'd even be willing to look at something lesser, greater than 1 inch in 24 hours, but yeah, I think where you're recommending 1 inch, that's.
And it's interesting you mentioned bank fill flow. We would give you those parameters upstream and downstream. And again, our design will be matching that bank full width of the acceptable sections. So that's how we'll proceed with the notice of intent.
I have no questions.
So let's anticipate the result of an NOI is good faith. You design something. Funding question. So where do we go NOI, order of conditions, it's good for 3 years, 2 one-year extensions. Basically, from a permitting perspective, you've got 5 years. I don't want to make it look like that we're giving the wide open window to deal with what might be a private property claim. That's between you guys to work out. The NOI is going to be good faith for a permit. You guys find the money.
So Mike and I were discussing as we were walking up the stairs tonight. We know that a design such as this is a very seasonal one. You need quick stabilization, so trying to finish construction in the December timeframe is a fool's effort. You're no way you're going to keep it stable with those gully washers that we see in the spring. We need some growth. We got to do it when we can at least get a catch of grass at the end of the growing season. So I think this is either a June construction and catch that early season hydroseed application. Overall, our hard materials, we're going to need some soft stuff too, such as hydroseed. Or we finish construction in the summer and we catch that magic period, which is that September 1st date, and get as much as we can. And then we follow up with all the live stakes and stickers. That's going to be part of our soft solutions as well. So there's a timing involved, and there's a grant deadline. There's a fiscal year involved as well. What Mike and I were talking about, and what we've talked about a little bit with MassDOT, but nothing is confirmed yet, is work on the notice of intent and the grant this year, get the approvals, and then work for a grant for construction season next year. So that is the schedule we have discussed. We do have to pass it. We do need MassDOT's participation in this, but we think the notice of intent, we can definitely get into the design and the NOI this year. No problem at all.
Thank you for clarifying.
So when do you want your amendment to the monitoring, you want that to take effect immediately?
We would.
Yeah, so that would be part of an EO, amending an EO for that.
Yep.
And then, as far as an NOI goes, I mean, file
Whenever.
away.
You have a commitment verbally here tonight on record, so we are going to talk that with MassDOT for the design, getting a notice of intent in, going through all the hearings and the site visits that are involved in that.
Okay.
At that point, the permit will wait on a grant issuance for the actual construction.
Okay, so
Through you, just on the grant, does having the permits in place make the grant more favorable?
Yes.
It does, definitely.
And
Yeah, it definitely does.
Is there anything that this commission could do to help assist getting grant by offering?
We are on first name basis with all our environmental folks at both FAA and MassDOT. So if I say that the commission is issuing this in the next hearing, I wouldn't need any backup.
Actually, one of the criteria, and I think you asked the right question, you hit the nail on the head, is you are already in non-compliance enforcement order. Because you got that, you are almost obligated to make a correction, which you're showing good faith in doing. That actually, those are points on a grant application.
So you're looking for a modification to the EO to amend it to 1 inch or greater?
Yes.
Is that the language you want?
That is correct, within a 24-hour period.
Yep.
Okay, within,
Second.
motion a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous, you got that. And that, the other part, you just need to bring to us.
And we'll keep updates to Amy as we make progress with both entities, the funding and the notice of intent. So.
Yeah, I think communication's important on this one, so if we can, as
So
long as we know what's
can
going on.
I just want to dovetail, so our town engineer has made some efforts to investigate in terms of municipal drainage and how it interacts with that area of Grosvenors and Wood Lane. He has done some investigation, and there's a drain line that takes water from the airport side underneath Grosvenors and into the municipal system. So, and the same thing with Wood Lane. So he investigated those drain lines. One had a 17-inch barrel that was shoved into the inlet, fit perfectly. He doesn't know if it was purposeful or not, but that was plugging that. And then he was able to jet the Wood Lane drain line and expose the inlet.
Yeah.
So it
Not Wood Lane, Wood Ave.
Wood Ave or
Wood Ave, yeah.
Wood, yeah.
Wood Lane's
No,
up out of town.
Yeah, no, it's, Wood, so Grosvenor's Wood. So that's just another effort on another level to try to at least understand the dynamic between what's coming from the airport and that stream and what's happening with our municipal drainage, but it does intake and take it into our system. Though, at least those two drain lines do. So, just so you know, just,
Is that something that would be reflected in an NOI, or is that beyond?
On your end, right?
That would be beyond the water
That
that
beyond,
we're
yeah.
actually concerned about with this NOI scope.
Gotcha. All right. So that's going to
so
be,
just FYI.
okay. All right, I think,
So, you're all set,
I think you
guess?
guys are good. You got your amendment
Yeah.
to the EO, and, yeah.
And we'll keep sending the reports as the inch rainfalls come in, so. All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say something. I'm here on behalf of the owners.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Then, by all means, you can either go to the podium or the table, wherever you want to go. I apologize, I didn't realize that.
I didn't either.
No
Sorry.
issue.
apologize.
Honest that this presentation has been extremely helpful. Answered most of the questions I had to begin with. For the record, I'm Russ Tedford, Hancock Associates, representing 27 Charles. Definitely very pleased to hear that you're filing or preparing to file for the NOI. That was our main focus, was what's sort of the permanent solution to this. Especially, with the fiber logs. Good to hear that they're working. Knew that there had to be something in place, given the constraints of the project with dry season versus wet season. So, June 2023 would be, if everything goes smoothly, that would be when construction.
It would be the earliest.
Earliest? Okay. And that wraps up that. And I know the second portion was the Dpw inspections, and I'm familiar with it because I walked with John, those two, Grosvenor and Wood Ave. I know he mentioned something about block pipes, and it's basically coming here to kind of ask Amy if he had definitely confirmed that both of those have been vacked and jetted.
In terms of what I described, John said that, they've been unable to follow up further at this point due to other emergencies that have arisen. So, they've done an initial investigation, got a handle on what was going on, but then, so I asked him today for an update, but that's all I got.
It's typically
So,
pretty hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, I know it is.
So we'll be real careful of what we say and how we say it. Remember how this all came down, is what initial allegation is the work that we had permitted was causing a problem, and therefore must have been flawed in either design or construction. That's how it was perceived. And we went out and we asked responsible people for that project to look at that project, and in their doing so, found that that project was not contributing to this. But in good faith, they took it beyond that and looked within the confines of their property within that area. That's why I was very clear to point out the other sources without naming what they are or where they are, as opposed to what you guys are doing. The only reason you're here is because of the other project. And this morphed into a solution of maybe improving other things from your project, but not being the panacea to the whole problem. So this commission doesn't have anything with DPW. We're not in charge of their maintenance. We're not involved with the ongoing upkeep. We have nothing to do with any of it. There's nothing before us. So that information we just shared is maybe better shared from John directly to representative from Hancock. But there's nothing from the DPW before us. These folks are taking a great big leap of faith in the right direction for us.
John Borghese did share that directly with Joe.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's not coming from this commission.
No. But I just wanted to know for our own edification.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's all the questions and comments I had.
Great, thank you.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else here that wants to be heard on this at all? Anybody?
I don't think so.
All right, I apologize for missing you the first time there, buddy. I didn't
That's
have, I don't have a
That's why I
scorecard.
just sat there.
I thought he was fascinated by the mowing
I
contract.
can't tell the players without a scorecard, Numbers on the shirts help, so.
Yeah.
Stripes.
Stripes, Yankees man right there.
Red Sox. All right, thanks again.
We're good, thank you all. Okay, so 27 Charles Street, that was Half Mile Hill, our last item on the agenda. Are you here for anything?
They're hanging around for Brooks.
Oh,
All right.
deliberation.
That's fine. I just wanted to know, again, just trying to figure out who's who. All right, Half Mile Hill Agricultural License Renewal. Real quick, Amy, 30 seconds or less. What do we need to do here?
All right, so Joss wants to renew his 3-year license with us for the Half Mile Hill mowing. I walked the site with him. He actually mows about 22 acres.
Yeah.
I measured it out on GIS. So I updated that to reflect that. And now that we're in July, I'm just shifting the dates from July of this year to June of 2025.
Okay.
Let's see. And then I just added verbiage that trustees have did their spring monitoring for our CR on that property. And they reported bobolinks numbering in the hundreds. So we do have a healthy nesting situation out there, so we need to be really careful about mowing time.
The fact that there are that many bobolinks there now is direct evidence that he hasn't
That
been
hasn't
killing
been
them.
doing
He's
it.
obviously
Yeah, no,
not.
it's good.
He's
Yeah.
obviously not killing them if they're there.
Yeah.
Will we switch the time from July to June, change that? I remember that our mowing up there was specifically tailored around
Yeah.
the
So,
bobolinks.
Yeah, he goes after the nesting is done. He times his mowing and baling on that hill,
Yeah.
so it's late season.
yep.
And
So it prohibits mowing between May 15th and August 15th.
So just so you know, I have bobolinks also in one of my fields that I cut on Ray Street, and they're pretty much, they're nesting now.
Yep.
And in 4 weeks, they'll be gone. So that's a very conservative date setup that we have on the agreement. Those birds are in nesting right now.
Excellent.
So-
And there's no shortage of them either.
That's good. So the only other change, and I'll leave it to you guys, there was a license fee of $25 per acre, so it used to be 14.4 at 360, and with the 22 acre, it bumps it up, but that's, and I assume that's a one-time payment, it's not a yearly payment, correct?
It's per lease. Per
Per lease,
lease
okay,
period.
so-
The
it's-
fee is per lease period. The area cut up there, he doesn't just bale. What he does is he has a machine that works the edges, the non-baleable area.
Yeah.
So you're seeing evidence of cutting, but I don't know if he's actually baling 22 acres.
Oh, all right.
He has a vertical 7.5-foot chopper deck that keeps down the portions of the field that are not exactly baleable
Okay.
for whatever reason, either because of angle, if there's too much side hill slope, or if the soil's
Yeah.
not right. So
Okay.
I don't know,
I
and
mean, that's fine.
Well, let's see what the commission
I'm not a
thinks,
farmer, so I didn't realize that.
so
Is he looking for a reduction?
no, he's not asking.
Increase. He's not asking, we're
He's not
asking.
asking for anything.
Well, I just
Amy's
wanted
asking
to
us
be
if we
Should we
want.
reduce?
No, she wants to know if we should increase his rent.
Now, the
Well,
question,
well, reduce the amount per square acre because he's got 22 acres now instead of 15, right? Charge him the same, but
Oh,
don't charge
reduce
him more just because the acres are adding up
Yeah.
differently, in
I
essence.
mean, I suspect he's been mowing that 22 acres the
Right.
whole time.
He cuts as much as he can.
Yeah.
He cuts, he.
The property didn't get any bigger.
And
No,
what he
no,
cuts,
right.
Amy, he pushes the edges
Yeah,
to keep the woody vegetation from taking over
Got
and
it.
encroaching on the field.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're gonna see more square footage and square acreage being mowed, but not necessarily baled.
Yeah.
Not necessarily harvested.
so you saw my GIS at the end of that, right?
I think I did.
Okay.
It's a good, whatever you wanna do.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
So, 22, and I just outlined what he actually, we walked the whole thing.
Yeah, see, like, he
so-
doesn't bale this area here, see?
Right, that's the
Th-
wetland.
This stuff in here,
Right.
he may, even over here, he may not actually, I can't say.
Okay.
Because I know that there's a pretty steep side hill here.
Yeah.
We can, whatever you want.
Whatever you guys want to do,
Well, what's the flavor of the commission here? We can renew and leave it the way it is, or we can renew and increase it.
$190 would beat the snot out of this for nothing in the scope of 3-year license. It's nothing. There's value to us to keeping the perimeter beaten down.
Yeah, he wants it down.
Whether he
Oh,
bails it, uses it or not, he wants it down, we want it down.
Right.
I think the additional mowing is to our advantage. I don't think we should charge additional rent for
Okay.
that. 'Cause I think we're getting a benefit for it.
He definitely keeps it open.
Yeah.
Any other?
I'm on board with that.
So keep it 360.
Renew them as is,
As is, okay, that's fine.
tell him to keep pushing the edges.
Yeah.
Amy, that $25 an acre, is that something that we use in all our, or was that just specific for this?
I don't know.
If anybody
It's
knows.
just, this is the first
Okay.
ag license.
Well,
that I-
you should have an ag license somewhere in the files for the Foster Farm.
Okay,
Because we've had a resident of Foster Street bailing those fields, and I can't believe he does, because they're really disaster. But he bails them, and he does it every year. And he's had an agreement with us since the town bought the property. If you don't have it,
I'm sure it's somewhere.
well, if it needs to be updated or renewed or anything, just reach out, because I'll leave a copy of it in his egg stand on the street.
Okay.
The Barker
Okay.
Fields and the Carter Fields, does Barker mow those on our behalf? I forget.
So again, we're in charge of that as well.
That's Rogers does that,
It
right?
used to be the Rogers family
Rogers does that, yeah.
and the Barkers. They either planted corn or they baled, whatever they wanted to do at that time. Richard Rogers used to like to plant corn because he could feed his cows. But yeah, those are all our,
Those are the licenses we have.
those are our licenses, yeah.
Okay. So I'll make these edits and then bring a clean copy at the next meeting so you guys can sign it.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, that's it.
And probably we should discover the rest of the leases.
Yes.
See where they stand,
Note to self.
when practical to do it. I
Yes.
mean,
It was years ago. What was the situation at Mesorenko on the back end of Great Pond Road? Didn't we have an encroachment?
Well,
Somebody was mowing our stuff, baling it and doing it
right, there was.
behind,
Yes.
out in the back 40 where nobody knew what was happening.
Yes, because of we have an access problem at the Mazarenko property. We have a tremendous access problem.
Well, that's a separate, would we,
So this was a person who actually had access, and the way, that was private property and then Mazarenko. So we couldn't cross in to get it. So they were keeping it open for us. So we looked at it as a home run, because in order for us to get equipment out there, we would have had to file a notice of intent to upgrade a road. The beavers took away our access,
I remember that.
and
A long time ago.
once we lost the access, we lost the ability to cut. There was a lot of woody vegetation reestablished itself. It's a tough place to.
All right.
I wouldn't drive my tractor out
I
there.
think that's all we have for business. Do you guys want to go on?
Do our
to
decision?
Brooks' full decision?
Yep.
Let's do the decision. Let's decide. Two four two 1839. 1160 and 1116 Great Pond Road. I guess I'll just ask the question, are there any changes, amendments, or new things in this that we need to know about? Or did they satisfy the boilerplate conditions?
Well, no, there's some stuff. You'll see in gray.
Okay.
And so there's activity within the 25 and the 50. And, you know, there's removal of existing structures, restoring of areas. But they're doing that work so they can comply. So I just added language that, you know, the commission granted waivers.
Refresh my memory. If it's non-compliant because it's historic, it's old.
Yeah.
And they're doing it to comply, is doing that activity though it's temporary, is that a waiver?
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, I wanted to.
Are we
make sure
waiving
we
it?
could-
Because I don't think we discussed the waiver.
There was no waiver.
Yeah, so demolition and restoration within these areas that would typically require a waiver, the net result is a benefit, so are we really waiving anything?
Maybe we should have, but I mean, I don't think it's something we're gonna get
That's
hung up
what,
on.
that's
yeah.
why I'm interpreting it too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just
We're
want to
getting
make
a net
sure.
improvement.
Yep.
So, remove the commission granted a waiver? And just say the commission, well, the
Yes.
commission recognizes that
Acknowledge, yes.
work needs to be done
Yeah,
in these
demolition
zones
work will be
in
done.
order for compliance
Perfect.
to be achieved.
Well said.
Okay.
$200,000 proposed bond, that's an awful lot to ask, Amy.
That's what alumni are for.
Well, I just figured,
Lots of
you know,
joking.
proximity to the lake, I don't know if you wanna knock that 10 grand down, do what you want.
No, I think the bond amount, the 10,000, not the 200,000, 10,000 is appropriate. I mean, if something can go wrong during that demolition, you know, granted that we didn't grant a waiver. But I think, given the proximity of that work, that's not a real big number.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of work being done along that shore. So I think it's good.
Anything else we should see in there?
Let's see.
Number of signs. 45. Which one? 45. Series of question marks at the number of signs.
Oh, yeah, I have to measure
that's
that
you?
out. I
No,
just
that's
ran out of
okay.
time.
Not a problem.
I'll get a count and do a 40-foot interval, but I wasn't able to measure it.
So that comes under the count and approximate spacing. Do you want the final spacing to be something that's agreed upon just prior to installing them? That you guys agree that that's where they should go? Or is it-
Yeah, I mean, what I'd like to do is just have a rough interval for them
Yeah.
and a number. So if they come in asking to buy them and I'm not there, Jamie can just look and say, okay, you need 16 of them.
Yeah,
or whatever.
that's fair enough, but what I'm saying is, should that condition go on further to say prior to installation, that the,
Sure.
schedule a
Yep.
meeting with the agent to confirm the locations?
Yep. Yep.
I have two suggested conditions just because of the location. I didn't see one about overnight parking of construction equipment.
Oh, shoot.
Probably
Okay,
outside the
construction.
100-foot buffer with drip pans, just because
Okay.
it's in the watershed.
Yes.
How about refueling activities?
That one's there,
I do have
67.
refueling.
So
Okay, so
you could probably just glom it on to 67.
Okay.
Good catch.
And then the other one is kind of an unenforceable, but I think you're gonna start seeing, well, you're gonna start seeing more of it, just kind of as a nod to the water department, whenever feasible, to select construction materials that have low levels of PFAS, because that has become a huge thing with water supplies, and if we throw that as a boilerplate, an ongoing standard as we go on, at least it shows that we're forward-thinking. So,
That's exactly what my mind was on the house fire. Was the
Yeah.
fire retardants that went out.
Yes.
Just PFAS.
Yeah, no, that's,
Any other amendments?
Hold on. I did, historic yard waste removal along Wetland Series 300 and 24A through 24-9. 24A through 29A.
Is that the pre-construction
Yep.
requirement to remove that?
Yep. Just having a sit-down meeting prior to the pre-construction on site to just go over the SWIP, go over construction sequence, erosion control sequencing, with the contractor. I should actually include condition that requires the contractor to initial each.
Yes.
That should be a boilerplate.
Yeah. I think you might want to either expand that condition or put another one just after that.
Okay.
And I can ask the folks here who are involved in the design of this. This is likely to go through more than one winter of, construction maybe starts this fall, goes through the winter, and maybe gets concluded next summer, next fall, right? So I think what we need is we know that the initial erosion controls and erosion and siltation controls will be in place at the beginning of the project, but I think maybe a date certain, prior to the winter season setting in December 15th, that another meeting be put in to tell us what it is you're going to fortify, how you're going to fortify it to survive through the winter. And it's only because it's not just wetland, it's we all know it's not drinking water, so I think that helps us.
And maybe even earlier in case we have an early frost.
Sure.
We can't pin.
So yeah, no later than, that's probably a good point, no later than December 15th.
Okay.
Because what's good for the construction at the beginning of the season may
Yeah,
be fine, but maybe
not
very
so
different
good
come
for-
winter.
Yeah, okay.
It'd be overstepping to ask them to open their nice little boat dock to fishing once a year for public.
At this level, yes.
What's considering we waived some of the bond?
Yeah, it's. I did that journey for Tim off that. That's a beautiful place to fish.
Yeah.
Any other
It's a
amendments?
good project.
I don't think so.
Ready for a motion?
I move that we grant the order petition for DPW file number 242-1839 as drafted and amended. Sir.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. We stand adjourned.